How a casual acquaintance at work can become your nightmare. A girl named Anna was young and ambitious. She had just recently graduated from university and was looking for her place in the sun. Life was just beginning and she believed that there were many exciting opportunities ahead of her. Anna has always strived for independence, and so immediately after receiving her diploma she started looking for a job. She managed to get a job in a small but promising software development company. The team was friendly, the atmosphere at work was pleasant, and the tasks were interesting. Everything was going smoothly. However, soon something happened that changed everything. On the first day of work, Anna was introduced to all the employees of the company. Among them there was one person who stood out among the rest with his confidence and charisma, Tom. He held the position of a lead developer and was respected by his colleagues. From the very first day he showed special attention to Anna, often asked questions about her life, was interested in her successes at the new place. At first it seemed nice and even pleasant, because Anna had not yet had time to get used to the new team and needed support. But over time, his interest became more obsessive. Tom tried to spend more time with Anna, offering help where it was not needed. At first she didn't pay attention to this interest in herself because she was too engrossed in her new job. But as time went on, his interest never waned. Sometimes he made small gifts, which at first seemed harmless signs of attention, but then began to alarm the girl. She didn't want to get into a relationship at all, especially in the workplace. One evening, when Anna was about to go home, Tom approached her and offered her a ride home. She politely declined, citing that she had some errands to run before leaving. However, his persistence continued to grow. The next day he offered his help again, and this time Anna felt mildly irritated. At first she thought Tom was a very kind man, but the further she went, the more it felt like he was trying to control her every move. His behavior began to resemble an annoying shadow that followed her everywhere. When Anna realized that his signs of attention were becoming too intrusive, she decided to talk to Tom directly. On her lunch break, she approached him and calmly explained that she appreciated his concern but preferred to keep her distance in the relationship. Tom listened to her, nodded and said he understood her position. Anna breathed a sigh of relief, hoping that things would now return to normal. But it didn't. As the weeks passed, the situation began to deteriorate. Tom kept finding excuses to talk to Anna. Whereas before his presence had been merely unpleasant, now it began to alarm her. She noticed that he often stood near her workplace, watching her every move. When she went outside during her break, he would suddenly appear nearby, as if he just happened to be there as well. At first Anna tried to convince herself that it was a coincidence, but it soon became clear that this was not the case. One day, coming home late at night, she saw Tom standing in front of her driveway. When their gazes met, he pretended that he was just taking a stroll, but the girl knew it wasn't true. She tried to explain the situation to her friends, but they only laughed at her suspicions. They said that Tom just had a crush on her and it was perfectly normal. But Anna felt that there was something wrong here. Her intuition told her that this was far from ordinary sympathy. The days went by, and Tom became more and more insistent. He started calling her in the evenings, sometimes even at night, asking how her day was, what she was doing. The calls became more and more frequent, and Anna could no longer find peace, day or night. Finally, one morning, coming to work, she found a bouquet of flowers on her desk. Next to it lay a note, "I'm sorry if I upset you. I just want to be closer." Anna realized it was time to act decisively. She gathered her thoughts and went to her boss. In his office, she told him everything that had been going on for the past few months. The boss listened carefully to Anna and promised to look into the situation. A couple of days later, Tom was called in for a talk, and the boss strictly warned him about the inadmissibility of such behavior. Anna hoped that after that everything would stop. But she was wrong. After the conversation with the supervisor, Tom disappeared from Anna's sight for a while. She thought she could finally return to normal life. But a week later, the strange events resumed. Now things were only getting worse. Instead of calls and gifts, there were other disturbing signs. Anna began to notice that someone was following her. One day she walked out of the office and noticed a man in dark glasses following her at some distance. When she turned around to get a closer look at him, he disappeared into the crowd of passers-by. Another time, she found a scratch on her car, even though there had been nothing wrong the day before. Every morning when she arrived at work, Anna felt the scrutiny of his gaze on her. She knew Tom continued to watch her, but there was no way to prove it. Her co-workers continued to think she was exaggerating, and her boss advised her to calm down and ignore the little things. But the little things gradually turned into something more. Anna began to notice strange messages on social networks, allegedly sent to her by strangers. These messages contained hints about her personal life, her habits, and travel routes. Someone was clearly aware of her every move. At one meeting with friends, Anna mentioned her concerns. One of her friends, Andrew, decided to help her. They agreed to meet in the evening to discuss a plan of action. But the meeting never took place. Andrew called Anna and informed her that he couldn't make it because his car had broken down. However, it later turned out that there had been no car repairs. Andrew had simply disappeared. No one could contact him and his phone was disconnected. This event finally convinced Anna that what was happening around her was not an accident. She realized that she had to take action. Anna contacted the police. She described in detail all her observations and concerns, provided recordings of conversations and messages. The police listened to her, but said there was not enough evidence to open a criminal case. They said that Anna needed to provide concrete facts of harassment. The girl returned home feeling completely helpless. She closed herself in the apartment, afraid to go outside. Every movement outside the window seemed suspicious to her. Even the ringing of the telephone made her shiver. A few days later, she received a message from an unknown number. "I know where you go. I know who you meet. You will never be safe." Anna realized she couldn't go on like this. She packed her bags and went to live with her parents. Her parents were concerned about their daughter's condition but tried to support her, reassuring her that it would all be over soon. But even the move didn't help. Strange calls and messages kept coming. Anna changed her phone number, but after a while she started receiving threats again. It seemed to her that the whole world had turned against her. One evening when she was sitting alone at home, the doorbell rang. Anna cautiously approached the peephole and saw a hooded man. He was standing with his back to the door, but she recognized his silhouette. It was Tom. The girl's heart raced. She wanted to call the police, but fear paralyzed her. The man stood for a moment, then left. Anna stood at the door for a long time, listening to every sound outside. Months passed. Anna practically stopped leaving the house. She quit her job, lost touch with most of her friends. Every day seemed like an endless nightmare. She was constantly expecting new threats, new signs that her stalker had not given up trying to get to her. Her parents tried to support their daughter, but they felt powerless themselves. They turned to psychologists, looking for ways to help Anna cope with the situation, but nothing helped. It seemed to the girl that she would forever remain a hostage of her fear. One day, when Anna was sitting in her room, thinking about how to live her life, she heard the sound of footsteps on the stairs. Her heart beat faster again. She knew her parents had gone to the store and no one was supposed to be back this early. The footsteps were getting closer. The apartment door creaked open, and Anna realized that someone had stepped inside. She froze, trying to contain her panic. The footsteps grew louder, and then someone stopped at the door to her room. Anna felt as if time had stopped. Her breath caught, and she could barely keep from screaming. But suddenly the door opened and her father appeared on the threshold. He smiled and said not to worry. The parents had made a difficult decision. To move and start a new life. Anna looked at her father and felt tears rolling down her cheeks. For the first time in a long time, she felt hopeful. Maybe there really was a chance to start over, to forget the past and leave behind the shadows that haunted her. They packed their bags and set off for another city. Anna realized that it would be difficult to get rid of the fear completely, but for the first time in many months she felt free. What had happened had left a very deep mark on her soul, but she didn't want that fear to interfere with her future.